Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's Shed Adventure. Well, what are we going to talk about today? It's chucking it down outside. If you're in the UK, you know I'm filming this on Friday and we are in for a massive storm over the weekend. So my plans of showing you some antique tents out in the garden have been thrown out the window, quite literally, with the rain. It's nice and cozy in here, mind you, in Shed HQ. So what we're going to talk about? Well, I've been slightly disturbed. Maybe I'm turning into an old fogey. When you're young, you think you're invulnerable to everything and you're invincible. And as you get older, you realise you're not. And there's some fantastic lads on the YouTube channel sailing around Scotland in a boat they've bought, and they're just lovely lads, excited, and you can just feel the enthusiasm. But they say things like, pass me a life jacket, and they get past a buoyancy aid, and they're sailing offshore, and I see people, they're trying to do the right thing. They're trying to take care and have some element of safety because they are wearing a buoyancy aid, but it's not a life jacket. And really, buoyancy aids are for me when I'm canoeing, or maybe inshore dinghy sailing. On a boat, offshore sailing boat, a buoyancy aid really doesn't have any place at all. And I was that concerned, I even sent them a couple that I've got hanging around Shed HQ, so I could feel a bit better. No good just whinging and not doing anything about it. So let's have a look at buoyancy aids and life jackets. So let's start with a buoyancy aid. So here's my buoyancy aid. Here's a buoyancy aid. This is what we wear canoeing, and it listen to the words, buoyancy aid. It's that simple. It gives you aid to buoyancy. It gives you flotation. There's flotation built into the front. You can see here, both sides, and different to a life jacket, there's actually flotation built into the back as well. It does a lot more. I can put a camel in here, a water bag in the back, and it comes with that. And as we know on other videos, we've looked inside and we're full of pockets where we carry emergency knives and all sorts of good things. So what will it do? When I fall in, it will mean I probably don't have to think about swimming. Particularly when I've got my my dry suit on as well, because I've got extra buoyancy in that, so I can concentrate on righting the canoe and doing the stuff I need to do. What won't it do? Well, it won't necessarily keep me upright, and it definitely will not keep my head out the water. So what a buoyancy aid will not do is keep you alive if you're unconscious. So not as much buoyancy. I don't know what this has. I know my life jackets have anywhere between 150 and 175 newtons of buoyancy. They will keep a big fella up. So the difference is, this will give you added buoyancy, nothing more. What a life jacket will do is keep you alive if you're unconscious, because it will turn an unconscious man who goes face down into the water, as example, up the right way, and he'll keep his head out the water. So let's have a look at, get on with it here, a good quality, when I get it on, a good quality life jacket. Simple to put on, relatively. Big buckle here. Designed as much for keeping you alive as comfort, because the manufacturers realise, and people realise, that to encourage you to wear this, it has to be comfortable. And these modern ergonomically designed life jackets are just fabulous. You can see that they design it so it comes off your neck. The old ones, they used to rub across your neck. They used to sit up there. This sits here, and do I know I've got it on? After 10 minutes, you really don't know it's on. Now, I'll show you in a minute the one thing I haven't done, and we'll talk about that. I fitted it across here. You have a crutch strap that comes up between your legs and clips on here. Must use those. Otherwise, if you do go into the water unconscious, all this great technology will come to no good, because this can literally float up, and it won't do its job at keeping your head out the water. So you must wear the crutch strap, which does make it a little bit more uncomfortable, but there we are, we have to do that. So what does this do? These come in two types, but everyone's moving really to one type. But manually inflated, where you pull a little toggle, and there is a little toggle tucked away in here, so I can manually inflate this, or automatically inflated. And that's where most people are going, because if you go over the side, bang on the head on the sailing boat, very easy to happen. Go and look at some of the coverage of this year's round the island race. I think the lifeboat was called out 12 times, and half of those were, when you hear the maydays, were head injuries from people getting bangs on the head because it was a bit blowy. So this will go off automatically. And how does that work? Well, there's a gas cylinder built in there. I'll show you in a minute. And it has really a dissolving tablet. And you go in the water, the tablet dissolves, that lets the hammer drop down, sets off the gas cylinder, and it automatically explodes. And by the brilliance of filming, I don't wish to set this off. I have one, and I'll put that on, do some careful cutting and editing, and I'll show you what a life jacket looks like when it's gone off. So, whoosh, off I've gone. I've fallen headfirst into the water, and my life jacket has inflated, and you can just see the complete difference to this, with tiny little bit of buoyancy spread around it, which will just keep me bobbing in the water, to this huge thing which has no buoyancy in the back whatsoever, because it wants to turn me the right way up if I've gone in head first, which it will, and it wants to protect my head, keep my head out of the water. And perhaps I'll do another episode. I'll take all this down next time I'm out on the water sailing or canoeing, and I'll chuck myself in so you can see exactly how it does it, all limp. And you can't see, but I've got my crutch strap on now, so this can't go off, I can't fall out, and I will float there if I'm unconscious. This will keep me alive. The automatic inflation is there. There should be a gas cylinder on here, but I've taken that off, and the little tablet lives in there. So you can either pull that, or you can just fall in. The tablet will dissolve, and whoosh, really quickly, almost instantaneously. You can top it up right there, just like on an aircraft, and you've got a whistle here, so you can call for help. And if this is an inshore one, the offshore version, and I would suggest everyone has an offshore version, also has a water activated light. And the other critical thing they discovered, I think the first time they really had some statistics on this was in the Fastnet race. People were still drowning even though they were unconscious or conscious, and they're in their life jackets, purely because of the amount of water they were inhaling, due to the waves, due to the wind and the waves and everything. You just couldn't breathe through your nose, through your mouth, without inhaling water, and people were drowning. So the offshore ones have a hood now, and you put a hood over. Clips here has panels you can see through, and you clip it down, so when a wave breaks over you, you're not being drowned and spluttering. So I would recommend everyone who goes offshore in a yacht has an offshore life jacket, whistle, light, hood. Out of the two things that are going to kill you if you fall off a boat, you've got rid of one. That's drowning. The other one is heat loss, and you're going to freeze to death if you're in European waters. But we've eliminated the initial emergency of unconscious man falls over, he's going to die. He won't if he's got a life jacket. You've got, depending on the water temperature, 20 minutes, half an hour to get that guy back, which is what it's going to take, even an experienced crew if you're sailing a boat. So there we go. That's the difference. A buoyancy aid is not a life jacket. And I know I'm being pedantic and people will say I'm being a boring old man, but I'm not. This will keep you alive. And if you get a modern one, ergonomically, they are super, super comfy to wear. So that's it, really. I've got nothing more to say. I'll now go and try and deflate myself. Bit of a lecture, bit of a nag. It's all meant in the right way. Have a lovely weekend. And if you're out sailing and canoeing, really enjoy yourself and keep safe. And if you like this episode, obviously, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. All right, everyone. Bye-bye now.